Whenever I go to a retro game store, I always see the same games in the PS1 catalog every time. It's always a bunch of sports games or fishing games, as well as stuff like Spec Ops. There's always these games in the stores, or shovelware games. I know there's a lot of games too, like the Razor Scooter games. You'll see those often. I had to buy this game for my girlfriend, and I played it, and I don't really care for it. There's also games like Burstrick Wake Boarding. You'll see this game a lot in game stores too, and on the surface you'll be like, it's just another generic racing game on water or something. I see Natsume's name on the cover, and it was given to me by a friend recently, so I decided, you know what, screw it. Let's see if this game's any good or not. So sit back, pop a squat, kick your feet back, and let's talk about Burstrick Wakeboarding for the original PlayStation. Burstrick Wakeboarding was released in the year 2000 for the PS1 only. It was developed by Metro Corporation and published by Natsume. Metro Corporation is over in Japan, and they have made some games for the PS1 other than this game. They made Skydiving Extreme, another game also published by Natsume. They also made a game called Bravo Air Race, an airplane racer, and even Bomberman Party Edition. Burstrick Wakeboarding is, of course, a wakeboarding game, and it's kind of similar to games like Wave Race 64, at least the vibe is. The controls are very basic, so there's two sets of controls. You've got obstacle mode and trick mode. Those are the two game modes in this game. In obstacle mode, you hold L1, it's for the boat to go faster, but it'll move you forward. Then you can use the D-pad to steer left and right, and X is your jump button. You'll be using this to avoid obstacles as well as jumping on ramps. Trick mode is similar but with a twist. You L1 to gas, you use the D-pad to steer left and right. You'll press the square button when you're out of the wake, and you'll go into this little mini game where you have to hit these buttons and hit circle, and you'll do a trick. This game gets to the point when you start it up. All you can do is go to either one of those game modes or options. There's no multiplayer here. You have 5 different characters to choose from when you start the game, and they're pretty generic on the surface. They have different speed and jump attributes too. Once you select your character, you can select your board. Now there's one left out, so there is one unlockable character and an unlockable board in this game. So you have to beat the game pretty much all the way with every character. The game feels like it would be a racing game, and technically I guess it would be, but really that's not what's happening here. You are actually going against the time limit you see at the top part of the screen, and you got to get a certain amount of points. There's a requirement of points that you have to get in every single lap and race, and it's in the top left. And to get that, you have to get either tricks, which are on the little jump pads. Green is 3,000, blue is 5,000, and red is 7,000. You can also get these rings from another game called Sonic the Hedgehog, and they will give you points as well. Seriously, these rings look just like the ones from Sonic. When you get the points required for each lap, you'll move to the next lap, and there's about 3 laps in every single race or round or whatever you want to call it. And whenever you get through the whole round, you go to the next round. There's about 6 rounds in the entire game for obstacle mode. When you beat the last round, then well, you beat the game. There are penalties though if you don't get the points. If you don't get the right amount of points required per lap, then you get 3 retries. You use all 3 retries, you get a game over, you start the entire game again. Don't worry though, this game's pretty short. You could probably beat this game in about 30 minutes or so. Another way you could lose is if you run out of time, and if you hit enough obstacles, this will happen. I'll be honest though, I didn't really have trouble with that, so you can easily jump over them, but wanted to mention that. If you want more than obstacle mode, you can always do trick mode, and the difference here with this one is you still have the point system and the time limit. That's all here. You got to get the right amount of points, the same as obstacle mode. The difference here is how it plays. Now, you have to go outside the wake and press square button like I mentioned earlier. It comes to this little button time event here. You gotta copy what's on screen in that little bar at the bottom, and you'll use the D-pad, you hit the button commands first, and then you hit the circle button, sometimes it's triangle, and you'll see like blue, yellow, green, red. Blue is the best. You want to get in the blue as close as possible. It's really not that hard at all, and it's actually kind of addicting when you learn how to do it. If you need help on how to do this, there's actually a tutorial you can do, and I'd recommend doing that because you'll kind of be confused at first, but you'll eventually get the hang of it after like 15 minutes or so. Instead of having 6 rounds for trick mode, there's actually only 3, but this time there are 4 laps. It's a little harder to get through trick mode in my opinion, but it's a little shorter nonetheless. The tricks you gotta pull in the 3rd round, man, you gotta be very quick on those button commands. I thought this game was honestly gonna suck, I really did, but I actually did have a lot more fun than I thought I would. There's not a whole lot here. You just kind of cut the game on, do the whole wakeboarding, and you do obstacle mode or trick mode, but they're well done. They play pretty well, the controls are good. They're not perfect and super polished like Wave Race 64, but it does accomplish its goal of what it does and how fun it can be. It's a very quick game though. You can beat this in literally about an hour if you do everything in the game, and there's just not a whole lot here as far as variety goes. It really needed more meat on the bone. The lack of multiplayer is a huge bummer too. This game would have been awesome if it had 2-player, even 4-player support. The graphics are fine for what it is, and the music is fine for what it is. It's kind of catchy, and the sound effects are also really good when you do tricks. There's really no excuse to check this game out. It's only $3 complete in box, at least in North America. This is the cheapest game physically in the whole entire PS1 library, at least in North America. If you're looking for very cheap games on the console that are kind of unique and fun to play, this is definitely one I'd pick up, especially for the price. Well, that's all I have to say about this video. Maybe I'll go outside and try some wakeboarding here at the lake by my house. If you got anything to say, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it, and thanks as always for watching. Y'all take it easy.